So, we are finally in the flashback, Verdansk 1984. First impression? It's bright, like really bright. They basically just dialed up the gamma, turned down the contrast. It's a lot more pastely. Um, Generally good for visibility, especially indoors. Uh, this may be their reaction to the rose skin. One way to do it, I guess, bit of lateral thinking. Like in Futurama, when the kid realizes that the engine doesn't move the ship through space, it moves the rest of the universe around the ship. While it is good for visibility, it does kind of give this kind of sterile, surreal look, closer to Cold War, which a lot of people, including myself, didn't really like. Overall, the map is cleaner, which means a lot less cover, kind of a sniper's playground. There are places that are completely barren. For example, outside Town Hall in downtown, where there used to be the buy station and a lot of tents and walls, is completely empty now. There's even places where there's a lot less trees, like the Vikings have just ravaged the place. I really don't know why they do this. As for the general layout, there's some point of interest changes that I'll get into, but most of the buildings are the same. Some have been recolored, like big blue is now big red, but the big stuff is the same. Less clutter though, less cover. It's warmer now, so there's no frozen rivers, and the train is unchanged. That thing has apparently been going on since before the 80s, just chugging on. For the points of interest, firstly the stadium is less interesting. It's smaller, under construction, so there's less interior. Interestingly though, out on the pitch, there's still football goals and markings. Seems a bit early to be putting those in, considering the state of construction it's under, but hey. There's also a crane that you can't really climb from the bottom, but there's a hanging container that if you parachute from a helicopter or something, you can get into. One of the biggest changes, which is Dam, that has become Summit. There's some interesting buildings up the top and cable cars to get up and down. But down below is yikes. I would not want to be down there. There's no cover. There's cliffs all around and the bridge. You are just going to get taken out from the high ground. Like Obi-Wan Kenobi, eat your heart out. Priority number one is not to be stuck down there, so hope the zone doesn't lead you there. There's a new area next to airport called Factory. So this is completely new, but built out of the familiar warehouse that's around the Warzone. The tower from Quarry, and a bit from the Melster Tank Factory Modern Warfare map. The main building there is kind of chopped up, but the recognizable bit with the alley, instead of it being a tank, you can be underneath, it's a plane, but it's recognizable. Then up above TV station you have a ray, which is just basically a big sniper's nest. It kind of reminds me of scaffolding from PUBG. There's some ladders that get mostly up it, and a grapple on one side that again gets mostly up it. I can't wait to see this thing lit up like the fog lights of a stadium with all the sniper glints coming out of it. Up by Park I noticed that the tower isn't there anymore. There's a missile silo door. There's also a normal door that you can't get in. Usually when there's doors like that, they'll put some boxes in front of it, so you know it's not worth trying to get in there. But not this door. You just run into that and it won't open. So that's going to lead someone to trouble at some point. I also noticed I couldn't use the keypad to get in the bunker near there, but I was playing Plunder and I can't remember if the bunkers work. If they do, then they've closed that bunker and you can't use the keypad anymore. The tower in downtown is under construction, so those top 4 floors you can kind of move about freely and see out of, hide away from cluster strikes and stuff. Quarry has been changed to Salt Mine, which, let's be honest, they should have just named Multiplayer Lobby, but it's generally flatter and a bit more colourful. But the buildings remain mostly the same. Airport is less destroyed, so it's clean and there's no holes in the wall, like you know where you could get down into the car park and little cubbies like that. They're not there anymore. The big destroyed airplane obviously isn't there anymore. They've been replaced by smaller private jets. There's not that much in them. You could probably put a crate in there, but there's like one route in, one route out. There's a completely new building in farmland that we haven't seen before. Looks kind of like a church from the outside, with these like sneaky head glitch windows. Other than that, I think things mostly look the same. Like port looks the same, prison looks the same, other than just like a few like recolorings. Overall, the biggest changes are going to be the shaders and less cover. So it's brighter, less contrast, things are kind of shiny. So planning for the zone is going to be more important than ever, as will the zone RNG with the lack of cover in certain areas. Speaking of which, because of the shader changes, zone is harder to see, like the actual gas. You can see it in the distance, but when it's kind of close, that kind of boundary, you have to kind of rely on the line on the ground because it's paler, and so they're going to need to adjust that and make it darker, because that's going to definitely annoy some people. Oh, and if you've seen the intro cutscene, they blow up the mountain. Um, that's going to be a new Cold War map, and so you can see this kind of dumb 2D sprite in the distance. It just wiggles. Good job. Being critical, most of the changes seem to be more motivated by story than actual gameplay. So, like the things being under construction and generally being cleaner, so there's less cover. So it's like story first, gameplay second. I don't think that'll play out well long term, but we'll see. We have a few weeks to figure it out and see how it plays, see if they make any changes. I'm sure there'll also be some story to this with like Easter eggs and stuff. I am interested to see where that will go. So that rounds it up, so let me know what your thoughts are. Also, let me know what you think of the video. Leave a like if you liked it, leave a dislike if you didn't, and I'll just leave you some extra footage I have of the new map. Alright, peace.